So, first time I ever went on Midlands After Dark with Alex Grace, 3 or 4 years ago. Jameson Clark, this man, booked 2 bands, same time slot, same venue, same place. It was disgusting.
Your Honor, she's referring to her past experience with Midlands After Dark. She's been asked to go over on the show, so her opinion on how her interactions with them would be relevant to the case.
Yeah, I'll overrule it, you know, just on leeway. It's fine to lay a foundation as to how the studio was run.
Good to know.
Go ahead.
So, that's actually why I was at the 29th performance, or pre-rehearsal, because I wanted to make sure everything was smooth because of my problem in the past.
Did you receive any information from Jameson?
Yeah, we had the normal email exchange. Are you going to come? Yes, I'm going to come. Are we sure that my band's the only band that's there? And then he sent me some weird guideline handout about animals, and my band was the Hound Dogs for this performance. So I kindly reminded him that the Hound Dogs are people, thank you very much. And he never said anything back.
Permission to
Sure.
Are these the guidelines you received?
Yeah, I didn't actually read them until the day of the performance when I was finally informed there would be a chimp on set.
Permission to construct a demonstrative?
Sure.
So, how did your band settle in that day?
Got there at 11. I got there at 11. Band got there at 11:30. Everything was going pretty well except my drummer kept sneezing. And like, you cannot play the drums with allergies. It just messes up the entire rhythm and it's really loud and you get a headache and it's just awful.
Have you seen this anywhere previously?
Yeah, we were overseas, Japan. There was a cat cafe, our bus broke down, we stopped and allergies went nuts.
Okay, so after you left the dressing room, to practice, does your band have to play their instruments before they go on set?
Yeah, that seems like intuitive. Yes, they're a band, they have to practice. A band plays instruments.
Were you aware of who you were next to?
Not at first, no.
When you walked out after the dressing room, what did you do?
So, walked out of the dressing room trying to, figure out what's going on, why my drummer's sneezing. There was a door next to us, and I was like, knocking on the door, nobody answered. I opened the door to find this chimp screaming in its cage.
So your band was placed next to Elias?
Yeah.
Guideline number 3, correct? So have a quiet place for Elias to rest and rehearse, correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
So while you continued, what did you do after that?
I talked to Kozak and Alex Grace about having the chimp move because, I didn't know what was going on with, 1, the chimp being there until the day of, and 2, my drummer was sneezing, and cats, animals, I guessed it was logical.
Did they ever move that chimpanzee?
I thought they were going to, but it turns out they were just moving the chimp to set.
Got you. So what did you do after that?
I went to go figure out where the chimp was going to be because I needed to make sure it wasn't in the same space as my band because by this point I had assumed that the reason my drummer was sneezing was because of this chimp.
Did anyone stop you while going on set?
Nope, not a person.
Where'd you sit while you were watching the show?
In the stands.
Okay. What were you doing?
So I got a call from a promoter and I went out to take that and when I came back into the studio, I was sitting, kind of watching, kind of on my phone.
What happened after that?
So Danny Kozak had moved away by the time I came in from my call with the promoter, and the chimp was like going through its motions. Alex was talking directly to the chimp, like I'm talking to y'all now, and then the chimp went nuts.
So, Alex Grace was talking directly to the chimp?
Yeah, as I stand here speaking to you, like a person.
Also, when Danny moved, was he around anymore?
Yeah, he's standing next to who I later learned were the writers.
So wouldn't that be a violation of the guideline number 7? Do not touch Danny at any time. Is there a possibility that they could touch him?
Oh, well, there's a possibility. I didn't watch him move though, so I don't know.
Gotcha. So, What happened, after Elias moved, what happened? Or after Elias began screaming, what happened? My apologies.
So, Danny was making some sort of like hand motions, I guess trying to calm him down, don't know. And then Alex Grace like made a hand gesture towards the chimp, trying to stop it, trying to touch it, no idea. And then the chimp freaked out and darted over to the riders and mauled Chris Philibana.
When you were calling 911, did they seem surprised that you were there?
I shouted that I was going to call 911, and people were like, "Oh, Remy Hollis, you're here, why?" It was very odd.
And did you see a cat on set?
Yeah, I mentioned this in the 911 call that we previously mentioned. There was this cat just kind of wandering around outside the audience exit door, which explains why my drummer was sneezing.
And you said that Alex Grace reached out towards Elias?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
So then let's go to number 11. It says, "Do not touch Elias' collar or harness at any time." No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Motion to deconstruct?
It'd be a good name for a band.
Yes, you are entirely right. Do you mind if I steal that? It's not trademark, right?
Cross-examination?
Oh, what do I do with this?
Um,
Do y'all still need it?
No.
Ms. Hollis, you stated during your direct that your band was playing in the room that they were in,
I
correct?
said they were practicing, not really playing. It's kind of like short snippets.
But they were using their instruments.
On and off.
You prepared an affidavit for today's case, didn't you?
Yep.
Would you see that affidavit, would you recognize that affidavit if I were to give it to you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Would the record reflect that I'm approaching the defense counsel with the affidavit? It's by omission, so there is no line. May I respect?
Yes, you're right.
Permission to
So,
Oh.
oh,
Sorry. May I approach the witness with the same?
yes, you may.
Thank you.
Is this a fair and accurate copy?
Yeah, I think so. Looks like it.
Has it been altered in any way?
It says it was revised.
Yep, that was by the mock trial session.
Okay.
And that is your signature on the back?
Yep.
And you swore, and you swore to tell the truth when you...
I did.
Can you find the line in there for me, please, where
That
it
you've
says
underlined?
you... What?
That you've underlined?
Nope, can you find the line in there where it says that your band was practicing or playing or using their instruments in any way?
Oh, give me a moment, if you will. I don't want to waste your time.
It's not in there, is it?
Give me a moment, like I said. No, I don't think I mentioned it.
No, you didn't. Thank you. First, may I approach the witness?
Yes, you may.
I'm sorry, what was it?
And while we're in an egalitarian courtroom, so feel free, all the approaching that you want to do going forward. I think we have a good collegial courtroom here.
I'm sorry, what was the point of this?
That you lied.
I didn't lie. I just didn't feel it was relevant to mention that my band was practicing for a pre-show rehearsal. I felt that was obvious.
Sorry, Ms. Hollis, you stated something that wasn't in your affidavit, so I'm just letting the jury know that you did previously state it.
Okay, but I didn't lie, which is what you literally just said. Thanks. Sorry, band manager, it's rough and tumble world.
I see. You corresponded with MTS previous to your the Hound Dogs performance, correct?
Yeah, that's what you do.
And they sent you guidelines on the live animal,
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
but they did send you guidelines.
Yeah, they were sent. You guys said that.
That's a yes.
Yes.
And you, on the day of the rehearsal, saw Danny Kozak's dressing room, is that correct? It was cracked open?
Yeah.
And you heard animal noises,
Yeah, screaming.
and you looked inside.
Yes, and was terrified.
The chimp was grabbing the cage with both hands and screaming, is that correct?
Oh yeah, it was so startling.
It looked agitated.
Oh yeah, it looked completely like nuts.
let's move on to the rehearsal. When you went into the rehearsal, you got a phone call from a promoter, is that correct?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that.
And you left the studio to go take that call, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you missed the first part of the rehearsal.
Yeah, I came back in, Danny goes, I couldn't move.
When you came back in, you were on your phone, is that correct?
Checking Tinder messages, yeah.
Yeah, Tinder. You were on your phone for the majority of the first part of the rehearsal, and so you weren't totally paying attention, is that correct?
That's accurate to say, yeah.
So you didn't see much of the segment, is that correct?
I mean, I wouldn't say I saw everything, no.
Thank you, no further questions.
Redirect?
No, we do it, and I just asked that to be able to.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Okay. So, defense may call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls Ashley Thornhill to the stand.
Ms. Thornhill, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God.
Now, can you please introduce yourself to the court today?
Hey, my name's Ashley Thornhill. Nice to meet you.
And what is it that you do, Ms. Thornhill?
Well, okay, I'm a makeup artist. Best job ever. I get to make everyone look hella attractive. So, what I was doing is basically my entire career has revolved around being like a makeup artist, but let me tell you, when I moved to Midlands, I was basically a personal assistant, not my jive.
And who are you a makeup artist to?
I was a makeup artist to Alex Grace. He basically promised me that I would be the head of my own makeup studio.
Action hearsay.
Your Honor, Alex Grace is the party opponent, therefore any statements by Alex Grace are exceptions to hearsay.
Well, is every statement an exception or only statements against interest?
Statements against interest, Your Honor.
Is this a statement against interest?
Your Honor, no, this is irrelevant.
Yeah, I'll sustain your objection.
Move to strike.
Yeah, and the last statement of the witness is so stricken.
So, why did you move to Midland?
Okay, so like I said, I am an incredibly talented makeup artist. Not to toot my own horn, toot toot. But, so I was basically persuaded to come here because I was, like I said, I was told by Alex Grace that I would get to be the head of my own studio. I would finally get to move to Midlands. It would be my big break. It would be like the Hollywood of yesteryear. Or at least that's what I was led to believe.
And what happened when you actually got to Midlands?
Downgrade. Major. So basically what happened is I became this personal assistant to Alex Grace. I had to cover up his problems, and girl, there is only so much concealer I can apply to underneath your eyes that can cover up your problems, like your sleep bags under your eyes, but I can't cover up your life issues.
Such as?
Well, let's see. What problem didn't Alex Grace have? He was a drunk. I was constantly cleaning up his liquor bottles.
Character evidence.
Your Honor, this goes to Rule 406, habit or routine practice. Evidence of a person's habit or an organization's routine practice may be admitted to prove that, on a particular occasion, the person or organization acted in accordance with the habit of routine practice. The court may admit this evidence regardless of whether it is corroborated or whether there was an eyewitness.
Your Honor, that rule only applies if it is a regular practice. That rule only applies for, say, in an instance, someone were to be doing an activity every day at 3 o'clock, and you're using that to prove that they were doing that activity at that time. None of that foundation has been laid, and further, the fact that they are insinuating that Alex Grace is an alcoholic is more prejudicial than probative.
What do you think to the prejudice versus relevance argument?
If I may start, Your Honor, first, again, it must be substantially more prejudicial than probative. And, well, actually, first, Your Honor, we are currently laying the foundation to make it clear that this was a regular occurrence with Alex Grace, that she was regularly drunk, and that she was actually drunk on set the day of June 29th, 2017. And as to more prejudicial and probative, again, that it needs to be substantially more prejudicial than probative, and it must be substantially more prejudicial than probative, and it's up to the jury to decide whether or not this would be, whether or not being drunk on set the day of an important event like that would be substantially more prejudicial.
Your Honor, if I may, Ashley Thornhill can speak to whether she saw that Alex Grace was drunk on set that day. However, she cannot use her prior knowledge of Alex Grace and saying that he has a history of alcoholism to justify the fact that he was drunk that day.
I agree with counsel. The objection is sustained, but you may present evidence of the fact, if it is so, that Ms. Grace was intoxicated on the date in question.
Okay.
Move to strike.
It is so strictly prohibited.
Let's go actually to that day. How did it start for you?
Well, once again, roll into the studio, time to fix everybody's problems. So I get out my makeup set, I'm doing Alex Grace's makeup. Not only that, once again, personal assistant. So I'm cleaning up his dressing room, there's these handouts all over the place, there's an empty liquor bottle, ugh, disgusting. Cleaning up his face, doing his makeup, you know the whole routine.
Okay. And what happened next?
So what happened is we had a little bit of a tiff, if you know what I mean. So he made a rather snarky comment that I did not appreciate about my skills doing makeup and like doing the monkey's hair. Like I would ever put my hands on that animal.
Okay. And what happened after you got into this argument?
So once again, whole big deal, whole tiff. He went out of the room and was like, ugh, all right, whatever. Not the best thing in the world. But he walked off. I started to hear screaming a little while afterwards. Did not sound good. So I walk out the hallway, because you know, I'm a good person, I'm gonna make sure everything's all right. With his liquor bottle in hand, empty. And of course, I see him roll past me and he goes, for what it's worth, you're fired. I deserved better than that. Excuse you.
And let's actually go to the day of Chris Villafana's funeral. What happened that day?
Well, so during Chris Villafana's funeral, like there were a bunch of people like running around, like rehearsing their little MTS lines. Don't say things like sorry, not responsible, all that jazz. Ugh. And not only that, I was not surprised that Alex Grace did not show up.
Why weren't you surprised?
The nerve of that man. He never cared about all these things going
Objection,
on.
speculation.
Yes, Your Honor. She's testifying based on her experiences working with Alex Grace. If it pleases co-counsel, I can rephrase.
Well, yes, please rephrase.
In that case, move to strike the answer that is on the record.
Yeah, I don't think she had answered that yet, but.
She had said that Alex Grace doesn't care.
Oh, quite right, yes, the testimony, that testimony is stricken.
Yes, Your Honor.
Based on your experiences working with Alex Grace, were you surprised that Alex Grace was not there that day?
Heck nah.
Okay. And you talked to Harper Villafana, Chris Villafana's wife afterwards, correct?
Mm-hmm. We're
And-
besties.
All right. And what did you say to her?
I said that I was going to do anything to make sure she got justice. When you are besties for the resties, you go for your girl and you make sure she is taken care of.
Okay. And what did you mean by that?
I meant, my life inspo, maybe Tan France, my fashion and life inspo is Evie from V from Vendetta. When you're faced against an oppressive, unjust force, your girl has to embrace her inner truth and rise up against the oppressor, okay?
In simplest terms, Ms. Thornhill?
I'm here for revenge and I'm here for justice.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Thornhill. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counsel
Cross.
Cross.
May I proceed?
Yes, you may.
Miss Thornhill, you would say you have anger issues, don't you?
Girl, don't make me out like I'm crazy or anything. Sure, I can get a little mad sometimes, but it's not like I go see a therapist.
But you self-identify as having anger issues, don't you?
Don't we all? Girl, I'm from California. If you had to sit in that traffic all the time, you'd have anger issues
Miss
too.
Thornhill, I'm asking if you specifically identify with having anger issues.
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered. The witness has stated multiple times that she has self-admitted to it, yes.
Your Honor, Ms. Thornhill has not been answering the question. I'm making sure that she says on the record that she does in fact have anger issues.
Yeah, I'm going to instruct the witness to please answer the question as it is being asked to you, please. So you may ask one last time.
You would self-identify as having anger issues, don't you?
Yep.
You would also say that it was difficult working at MTS because you had anger issues.
Okay, so like anger issues, those are things that rely on outside stimuli. I'm
Your Honor, move to
educated.
strike. It's not answering the question.
Please answer the question that is being asked.
Okay, it was hard to work at MTS because of Alex Grace, who triggered my anger issues.
Now, I'd like to talk about your relationship with Alex Grace for a little bit. You just said that your relationship with Miss Grace wasn't great, right?
That would be overstating it. She misled me.
And she then fired you?
Yeah, I deserved better. And
In fact-
so did everyone else she screwed over.
Your Honor, again, move to strike. That's not answering the question.
Yeah, the last part of the testimony, it is so strong.
You also said working with Alex Grace was misery, right?
Mhm.
And you said that working at MTS was the worst chapter in your life.
Absolutely.
I'd also like to talk about your presence at Chris Villafaña's funeral. Now, you talked to his wife, right?
Yeah, I love Harper.
And you told her that you would do anything to get even with MTS, didn't you?
Sure did.
You told her you would do anything for revenge, right?
Anything to get the justice she needs.
In fact, you told her you would do anything to make Alex Grace suffer.
Once again, anything to right the wrongs.
Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor. I merely ask that my witness be allowed to step down.
You may step down. Thank you.
Thanks.
Your Honor, at this time, defense rests its case in chief, and we ask for a brief 5 to 10 minute recess to prepare for closings.
Yes, sir. We're in recess then. We have now.
Leave out the bank statement, the article that they relied on from the experts and the guidelines.
I don't travel as well as I used I saw a thing in the paper that they were interviewing a president of Southwest and some other airlines about the proximity of all the cities. It's kind of funny, I thought you guys had to fly back to
Well, the article has already been submitted as evidence. Well, oh, state the guidelines. Also, I just want.
I've seen people walking by the umbrella.
Yeah, I see it dripping a little bit.
It doesn't matter.
Well, it says from range of 96, 100%.
Everything. Up until first. Everything I saw. Rose last night. Must be, and Rodney told me that it was recorded. At our school. So I think we got here, which is great, because I'd rather not have to drive back to Rocky tomorrow and pour down rain than I get to Rocky.
Well, you're not driving, you're just riding.
Yeah, well, I love my sister in that, guess what?
Okay, I need like,
Yeah, we do it.
okay, I ready to follow with that.
Of course, I don't even want to see the car, everybody's scared me.
How do you get up to the Oh, I have all the affidavits over
Just
here.
opposite, driving there's like an old lady, 10 miles over the speed limit, and then pushes everybody around and then flying by him.
Everybody's flying by with 55.
Yeah, well, he's only going 30. And then Penny, you know, one way
I got a
nice.
ton of exhibits here. Which ones did you need out?
You know,
I wonder why everybody's not going faster.
Get out of the way.
Any of the
It's a
emails?
bit tough, but I can't
She
say
did need
anything.
the
I was,
emails?
that's right, I don't like it. Well, I say stuff, I just shouldn't say stuff. Not that I can't. But I do.
Safety article and the guide safety.
But not,
Guidelines article, what are the guidelines?
I have a copy of the guidelines right here.
And safety
Fine, I'm all
articles
right.
apply to current
Lily Hawkins. There's a article. I just scanned.
That's guidelines.
Oh, I don't think we pulled that out, so
Okay, then I'm gonna sit up here and just listen.
if we did, it might be in the.
It's exhibit one, okay, so.
No, 23 is the safety guidelines. I think it might be even 9 or 15.
Assume.
Okay, whatever.
Do we have any other affidavit or anything else? There might be one under my thing, like just check around. And then there might be one like in my binder, like if you open it. Another.
And she was like,
Oh, yeah.
It's right here. It's here. Oh, right, over here. Wait, that's the. Yeah, hold on.
Well, actually, the guy that lost his accent, he did it already.
My guy? Guys, we don't have to clean up the stuff, but we need it, we need it. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you wanted to email that.
no, because Kelly's gonna reference it and she'll probably turn it back to the bench and
Yeah,
so that way
understood.
the friends can also use it.
Sabrina, can I snag this?
Do you have 2 copies?
Do you want, y'all wanna go, y'all want a hamburger?
Have it?
I don't know how long he did.
Okay. We got enough time. We're gonna go to Hop and Grind. Hop and
Sounds
Grind.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. We're better this time, because yeah, we got that last time, but some of those chicken fries went over 20 minutes.
Oh, we're
Now, we couldn't go get a bottle of water and get back in time, right here in the building.
Did you?
Yeah, we could stuff this stuff later.
Where's the?
Did you see what
Figure this out, I gotta. This was for this.
Yeah.
I realized that.
Yeah, good.
Okay, good, no, I'm glad, I hate you.
Well, that's why I bought it, 'cause I knew you liked it.
Nasty stuff.
Biggest thing on pause is to remember to not get offensive. I forgot my number.
Now what's there, right?
I just got on, I'm sorry? I heard it, but off the top of my head, I cannot remember it. I know, the reader like another. We're gonna head back in.
All right, we can all be seated, thank you.
Closing, Your Honor?
Yes, counsel, ready to proceed?
For closing, I'd ask if I could use Exhibit 23 for the defense.
Yes, you may use any exhibit you like.
Your Honor, the only thing that I would ask is that opposing counsel not write on the demonstrative.
Of course, I will just be referencing what was already written.
Would you like me to help you
The
set that?
demonstrative, yes.
Do you want the stand, do you want me to?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
perfect.
Thank you for doing this.
Of course, yeah, sorry, these are.
No, I understand. Oh, no, that's not. Okay, that works. May I proceed?
Yes, ready when you are.
May it please the court. Professionals know best, or at least they should. After all, that's why we hire them. We look to them for an opinion we can trust, that we can rely on, and sometimes stake our lives on. The staff at Midlands Television Studios had placed their trust in the hands of Danny Kosak. They had trusted that Danny Kosak would train his chimpanzee Elias for the trick he would perform. And they trusted that